nice and warm in here. And welcome to part 2 of our TuffShed to gym renovation. In the first video, we showed you some of the pre-wiring that we did for outlets around this place. Quick recap. We're gonna bring the wire from the outside into this junction box, and from the junction box to that outlet, over to that outlet, over to this outlet, and then we went up and around to this guy. And that outlet is what we're going to work on now. But there's a little bit of an additional complication because we want both of these outlets to run on the same circuit. And to do that, we need something called a pigtail to make both outlets function separately, even on the same circuit. Courtney's going to explain a little bit how that works, and hopefully she'll do it too. So I can just stand here with the camera and look and be behind the camera. Is that good?
Oh, we need to also put some light stuff up before we can get there, so.
Oh.
But let's get going. So we're pretty much gonna have 3 wires coming into this box. One is our power wire, which is this one. And then 2 others, one from here that's gonna go up to our lights, and one from here that's gonna go up to our fan. So we're gonna cut this and get it ready to go, and then we have to run a wire up to where we're gonna put the first light box, which we have to install.
Yes. That's the center board right there. So I think I want it on the outside of stud, I think. Sound good?
Sound good.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, good. All right. Looks good. This is gonna be fun. I don't know.
If not, we just drill another hole.
So the reason why we're doing all this wiring this way is because we want to make sure the wiring is the right length for all the fixtures that are going to be on the ceiling, to include our 4 lights and our ceiling fan that we're going to put in. So even though we're not mounting the ceiling fan yet and all the lights, we want to make sure that our wiring is all long enough. So we're doing the pre-runs now, getting them fed into the boxes, so we make sure we have enough cable to make it all work.
Okay, Steve mentions we're gonna have 2 light switches here controlling the lights and the fan, and we have our power coming in as well. So the way a light switch works is that you actually have 2 hot sides. You have the power that comes into the light switch, and then the power that leaves the light switch and then goes up to the fan or the lights or whatever. And that way when you toggle the switch, it interrupts that hot power and you turn on and off the lights. There is actually no place for a neutral, which is the white wire. So those are just gonna be connected before you get to the switches. And then the ground also has to come to the light switches. Now we have 2 switches, which means we're gonna have to do a pigtail for both the ground and the power, so that because there's only one power coming in and there's 2 places it has to go. So I'm gonna start with the neutral because that's the easiest, and then we'll go from there. There we go. So this is a PushGuard 3 push-in connector. It pretty much takes the place of one of these wing twist guys. And in a situation like this, where we're gonna have to have quite a few of these to make this all work, it's a little bit slimmer and easier to deal with. So, and it was perfect because all 3 of these neutrals are now connected. We're just gonna bend and go into the next one. It's gonna bend, it's gonna go into another one right about here. This one will be going in like this. That'll be going there, and then there'll be another one coming out there. So then I need the one coming out this side. So this is a really wonky way of doing the ground. If we had a 5-way connector, we could have just had one thing. We would have had all 3 of these wires, grounds going into the 5-way, 2 more coming off, and that going into the 2 light switches. But this was the best way I could figure out how to do it with just having 3-way connectors. So this one will be easier for the hot. So we just have to put the power wire into this connector and then pigtail it. So have 2 wires coming off of the same power, but going to the 2 separate light switches. So that's what we're gonna do. Power is gonna go in the middle. Power to the light switch on this side. Power to the light switch on this side. If I can see it. There we go. Okay, and we'll cut these so that they're the appropriate length to go in and out of the light switch. This is the hot wire. It's not hot right now, but it will be. This is the wire going up to the lights.
So this is the outlet that's going to go to the fan. Now we're going to work on the outlet that will go to the lights.
Yeah, and this has a dimming option.
It's a dimmer.
Yeah. So which side? This is power from our pigtail. So that's going to connect to this guy. This is the lights power. So that's going to connect to this guy. And this is our ground, which is going to connect to this guy. Use one of these guys on this one, because why not? This is going to the lights. Ground.
All right, we have these somewhat tightened down. We're not going to tighten them completely in case there's a problem. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to test yet until we have power running out.
Yes.
But
it's wired.
It's wired.
Hopefully correctly.
All right, let's continue with these lighting boxes. Got one there, another one here, and then we're going to put another two on that side. So what we did today is we wired up these two switches, and these switches control both the lights, the 4 can lights that we're going to put in over there, and also the ceiling fan that we obviously have yet to buy. So this dimmer switch will obviously control the lights, and this guy will control the fan. And the way all this works is the power comes in one side and out the other. So the outlets and the fan and the lights, it all kind of works the same way. These switches are the only thing that's different. That's why we had to use the pigtail, so they could operate independently, so we could turn one off without turning the other one off. We want to control them separately.
And hopefully we did it right.
And hopefully we did it right.
So
unfortunately, we can't test yet.
Not yet. I think we're going to rig something up so we can test here soon before we actually do the trenching and everything and get the power run officially out here. So that way we can at least test and make sure everything's working.
It is the next day, and I want to end this video by admitting to a mistake, or I guess an oversight, that we made in the last video. And one of our commenters reached out to us to let us know what that was. As you recall, when we went from this outlet over to these switches, we ran the power cords up and against the roof and down to avoid drilling a bunch of extra holes. What we're going to do here is, instead of running this wire up and then cutting holes through all of these pieces of wood, which we can do, but it's kind of a pain, we're going to see if we can run it up through these two pieces. Well, let me just show you. Drill a hole probably here, and then run it between these two pieces of wood all the way across. But there's risk in that. One, if you pound a nail or a screw down through the roof, say we're attaching a evap cooler or whatever, then you risk actually puncturing one of your wires, or if it lights up, like it ignites, sparks, or short or something, it could make the roof completely catch on fire very quickly that way. So anyway, that was not a good idea. So we did that to kind of save some time, but often with these projects, the things that save time may not be the best thing for you to do. So I spent a little bit of time today redoing that, thanks to our commenter. My dad actually watched the video and called me, and he goes, "That's probably not the best idea." So I redid it. We made it safe now. So we're running it through the walls right above the door. And the other thing the commenter said was, because this is an outbuilding, you probably want a circuit breaker at the building itself, because if there is some type of a power problem, there's a spark or whatever, and I need to shut the power off, without a circuit breaker here, we're running inside the main house to shut that breaker off. So it's safe and a good idea to also have a breaker in the outbuilding, which is the gym. So right now we don't have that, we just have this here, but in the next few days we are going to install a breaker right here. So if we do have to cut the power to the entire gym, I can just run over and flip it and then the power is off. So thank you to our commenters for letting us know what we did wrong. We are always willing to take the advice from more experienced folks. And that's what you get here on A Dream in Life. We don't cover up our mistakes. If we do stupid stuff, we're gonna tell you we did stupid stuff, because we all do them. This is how we learn. So, fixed a mistake, going to fix another mistake in the next couple days, but I wanted to make sure that you knew that in the end of this video, so you don't think that we're completely unsafe going forward. So that's it for part 2. We will see you for part 3.